Welcome to the Inspiration North podcast, inspiring stories from inspirational people and how they found their passion, their true north. I'm James Eves.
And I'm Michelle Minikin, and this is the Inspiration North podcast.
Today's episode, Recognizing Your Yoda Moment with James Ibbitson. We talk about how he never set out to run his own business, the importance of mindset and resilience for entrepreneurs, and hear all about his Mexican mind monkey.
James runs a video marketing agency, Visual Punch. They create exciting and engaging video content for their clients. James, in a past life, was a forklift truck driver and a flat roof installer, to mention a few of his previous career choices, before having his Yoda moment. Fast forward several years, a degree later, and noticing a gap in the market, James started his own business. Visual Punch has since gone from strength to strength. Visual Punch specialises in creating video content that allows their clients to communicate with their target audience quickly, clearly and concisely. With exciting new services being launched soon, they are excited to work with you on your video journey.
So good morning to you, James. It's great to have you with us. I think you've been on our list as well for ages. Michelle's talked about you
Since the beginning.
Forever. So how are you doing today?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for having me. It's been one of those things that I've been dying to get on this podcast for ages too. And it's always just been one of the things Michelle says, you should come on the podcast. And I'm like, I know. And then she goes, when are you coming? I'm like, can you fit me in a couple of months? And she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And then, but eventually she was like, right, date in the diary now. And I was like, yes, sir. Did it. And we're here. So I'm super excited.
Yes, he's podcast guest number 99.
Yeah, can't believe it.
Now we should have had some red balloons there just in the background. Maybe use the green screen. You could probably put some in.
I was going to say, yeah, green screen. We've got the green screen behind us. We can put them on.
We'll do that for the Zoomie. So we kick off with the first question. So you're a little boy again. Did you know what you wanted to actually be when you grew up?
I suppose, like many little boys, that seems like a weird thing to say, doesn't it? I wanted to be a footballer, I think, like everybody else. And then when I realized probably wasn't going to be a footballer, I thought, I'd quite like to be a cricketer. I thought, that can't be that hard. As a Yorkshireman, it felt like it was like a natural thing that was in my DNA. Yeah, that wasn't going to work out either. And then I kind of just flitted around different things. And then weirdly, one of the things I wanted to be was a truck driver. Mm-hmm. Quite liked the idea of being out on the open road and sort of thing. I think eventually I just got to a point where I kind of decided that I just wanted to make money, which sounds awful when you say it like the way I've just said it. But I think it was that sort of thing of like, I wanted to make enough money so I was comfortable, but didn't really know how to go about doing that, if that kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. So, I left school at 16. So, this is back when we had GCSE. So I think I got 3 Bs, 5 Cs, and I think I got an E in graphics or something like that. It probably says much more about my drawing ability than anything else. But then I worked for 3 years. So I'm a fully trained flat roof installer. Oh, I can also drive a forklift truck.
Awesome.
Did not see that one coming.
Yeah, I'm a jack of all trades, me. And what else did I do? I did all sorts. I worked in shops. I loaded lorries. Did loads of things. And then I had like a Yoda moment. It's the only way I can describe it as a Yoda moment. So I was this was when I was roofing, and I was out with my master, and we'd just been told we had to go brush the snow off the roof. So we get this job done, and it was just like, one of them things you just think, this isn't right. This is like proper sketch. And you just think, well, let's got to crack on and get it done. And it was an old man that was living in the house. He just came out and was like, what are you doing? Like, get yourself back to college, lad. You don't want to be doing this till you're 60, Go do something with your life. And I kind of took those words on, and then went to college, did a college course. And then it was on the day of UCAS application, they were like, you applied for UCAS, UCAS for uni? I'm like, why do I want to go to uni? And I'm like, if you want to work in TV, like, because at that point I decided, we did on our course, we did lots of different things from journalism through to film production, through to graphic design, all these different bits. And I really loved like the TV production side of things. And I really wanted to go work in kids TV. I was like, the thought of just messing around all day, filming stuff on kids TV, I thought it sounded like right up my street. And it was through a conversation with my lecturers, he was like, no, you've got to get to uni. You won't be able to get in onto the sector without a degree. And I was like, surely he's lying. So at this point, I was 19, turning 20. And I was just like, I did something that was probably uncommon for a lot of 19-year-olds. I picked up the phone and rang a few production companies and just asked them. I was just like, would you take me on if I didn't have a degree? And they all said, we need you to have a degree. It's what we'd prefer you to have. So off I popped to uni, got my first class degree in film and TV production. The politician at the time said everything that was degree entry level is now an apprenticeship. So it was a bit awkward because that meant I'd spent X amount on getting my degree to be then told you no longer can apply and work for any of the big production companies like ITV and the BBC, everything on that front. So then moved to the Northeast with my partner. And then like every other graduate, you kind of do 10,000 jobs, don't you? You know, bar work, you know, waiting tables, that sort of thing. And then you apply for about 1 million jobs. You never hear anything back, do you? You don't know if your CV's wrong, if your face is wrong, or, I mean, at this point, I just want to narrate for the podcast, Michelle and James just shaking their heads like, yeah, I completely agree with you on this because no one ever replies to your email. And then it was just a conversation I had with Rachel's mum one day, and she was just like, just do it yourself. Kind of do it yourself, get a couple of years experience and go get a job. That's where the business kind of came from. I never really set out to run a business. And I think looking back as a young child, I knew I always wanted to make money, but I never knew that running a business would be a way to do that, which is, it sounds crazy because my granddad used to run a bus company in York. He was a very well-known bus company in York. Never put two and two together. That's how he had lots of money. Never ever in a million years went, oh, that's how he's got money. So, yeah.
That's funny, isn't it? I was going to throw something funny in. You mentioned a Yoda moment earlier on, and something that has had my Facebook friends list laughing their heads off. We've been going through all the Star Wars movies with Michelle's son Oliver at the moment, and trying to explain how, you know, you're watching the fourth movie, but you didn't know that Darth Vader is his father and who the Emperor was, etc. And there's a scene where I think is it Return of the Jedi? Was it Empire Strikes Back? Empire Strikes Back, I think, where Yoda finally dies. But there was this meme that came out. Once I became a
spoiler
parent,
alert.
Yeah.
Sorry, spoiler alert. Yes, if you've not seen it, apologies.
We were 5 when this came out. But yeah.
And the meme was, once I became a parent, I finally understood the scene where Yoda gets so tired of answering Luke's questions, he just dies. Rest.
Yes, I remember seeing that one on Facebook. I'm sure it was Michelle that shared that, and I remember laughing to myself too at the thought of that. All the questions of like, where's all the dinosaurs gone, Daddy? Why are the dinosaurs here? Why doesn't Paw Patrol rescue them? All of those questions. That's the level of my questioning at the moment. I'm sure yours is much higher.
Half-life for uranium, we get those ones. Like, I don't know.
Wow.
I think of Oliver from some event, and it was we'd gone from how Greggs makes sausage rolls to Chernobyl to the half-life of uranium and why is it so long. So we've implemented a new rule for movies now where he's allowed 3 questions in the movie. And if he goes beyond that, we turn it off and put Michelle's favorite on, Jurassic World. She doesn't want to watch.
I like the 3 question rule. I like that a lot.
He literally can ask
with a partner.
He's like literally in one sentence. He asks 3 questions. Yeah.
Working well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've had you felt in the force that you've got to set up your own venture. You've obviously got the experience from university. How do you decide kind of what to do next and what to sell as a service?
When I did my college course, I really just fell in love with like creating video. I love that sort of creative process. I love how you kind of took an idea from, essentially an idea onto paper and then through to film to finish a finished result. And university really helped me with that sort of thought process and doing that. So one of the things that actually made me decide to do this in terms of running Visual Punch, a video production company, was when I'm from Yorkshire originally. I'm from a little town called Beverley. And growing up, you shop at most of the chains. You went to those big chains. That's where you kind of went to. You didn't really go to the independents. And coming up here to the Northeast, it's like backward. You don't go to the big brands. You go to these little independents because you know you're going to get the service. You know you're going to get that quality. And it was one of those things of that, obviously, well, we'd come up from uni and you start kind of looking around. I mean, this is 7 years ago now. So I was looking around and seeing that there was lots of these, SME types businesses, amazing independent traders. They all had, a half decent website, but none of them had any video. And I was like, this can't be right, surely. It's like, back home, Beverly, it was like, a lot of, businesses, kind of all that way, were embracing video, taking on video and using that way, using it as a marketing tool. But it just seemed like up here that people hadn't cottoned on to that idea just yet. And it was one of those things, when you start going, this can't be right. Surely this isn't like a gap in the market. And it was kind of, because one of the things I kind of, through the conversations with my partner's mum, it was like, she was like saying, you've got to look for that sort of gap in the market where you can bring something to. And it was like the more and more conversations me and her were having, it was that sort of thing where you kind of go, there literally is a market here, because there was lots of big production companies and they're still around in Newcastle today, in Sunderland and Middlesbrough, but there was nobody creating content for, the little guy, the SME. It was more for the big business. And it was obviously 7 years ago. It doesn't sound long, but it was like, it was viewed as being a video was viewed as being a thing for big business. It wasn't something that a lot of SMEs would have jumped on, because I think it was the fear of cost and that sort of thing. So it kind of, that's where it grew from. It was like just identifying that and then being like, sending a few polite emails out saying, hey, would you be interested in this? Would you, was this something that would, you'd be interested in buying? And then everyone was just like, yeah, we'd buy from you tomorrow. We love that idea. And then, as of all businesses, you set your business up and then everyone says, yeah, great. We want to buy a product. Can we see a portfolio so we can see a bit of your work? And you're like, we're a new business. We don't have a portfolio yet, but we can make your video for you. We can really do that for you. We really want to see a portfolio first. So that was kind of my business journey in terms of how we started.
We've had that a few times, haven't we? That it's almost seeing a gap. It's or someone isn't providing a service, and it's that realization of surely someone's already thought of this before. It's obvious. But
it does, so doesn't it? It feels like you're almost like you're looking at it like, surely someone's doing this somewhere. For me, it feels strange that no one's come up with a Chinese food franchise. It's like, why has no one ever done that?
Just makes sense, actually.
No.
It just seems a bit strange, you know what I mean? You've got all these other cuisines to a franchise, from pizza through to, and all that. And then it's like, there's not a Chinese one.
No, Wagamama's is your closest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Weird. Mind blown.
It is. If somebody sets up a Chinese food franchise, though, us three want a cut of that, because that's RIP.
We were watching something really random on Netflix.
What is it? Is it like $1 Million Menu or something?
Yeah.
Or...
So
yes.
Have you seen that?
Program. Yes.
And they were competing to get investment for either a restaurant or a chain, and I think it was a couple who did. I want to say it was Vietnamese.
Nope.
No, Indonesian.
Nope. Korean.
I know which one you mean. I can't remember what food it was though.
It was food that British people hadn't had before.
Yeah.
It could have been Filipino, I think. I don't know.
Oh, I think you might. Yeah, I think you're right. There were a couple of investors were really interested, but they were looking to go for a franchise type model instead of. Oh no, they wanted a restaurant, didn't they?
Yeah, and they wanted to do takeaway.
But one of the guys said, you should really just do this as takeaway based on where we are in the world currently. I can show you how to make it successful as a takeaway. And then we go from there.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That was as close as we have to a Chinese franchise. There's the link.
Here we go. Okay, so you and I met in 2018, early on.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah, so we were both in for our interview at NatWest to go on to the Accelerator program.
The NatWest Business Accelerator program. Entrepreneur somewhere I'm sure there's the word entrepreneur is supposed to be in there too.
Yes, quite possibly. So
it was a great program though, right, Michelle?
Yeah.
Even though we didn't know the name, can't remember the name, it's still a great program.
Yes.
It's a very long name.
We'll have to look it up. We'll get into trouble. It's like
I know.
So yeah, it was fascinating how so many different businesses came together.
It really was, wasn't it?
So what changed in your business because of it?
I think a lot of things actually changed. I think the program actually helped me more than the business. Definitely from like a mindset point of view, it really helped me on that front, and it's helped me kind of just be more open-minded. I think you set your business up and you go, right, we're going to do this, we're going to go down this avenue, and this is how we're going to do it. This is how it's always been done, and that sort of thing. And it just kind of, it challenged some preconceptions I think I probably had.
Which in many ways can be one of the most important factors as an entrepreneur. If your mindset is right, other things you can figure out.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a funny one, isn't it? Because you set up your business, you go, right, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to have loads of money. It's like, what is it? Field of dreams, build it and they will come. You know, so you're like, we're going to build this amazing business. Everyone's going to come and buy our products. And you open the doors and it's like tumbleweed blowing outside. Like, where is everybody?
Well, if people are going to come, you might not be able to see them.
Yeah, that's it. But I think it comes back to that sort of, it's that almost like resilience, I think, isn't it? It's understanding how to kind of deal with that setback. And then that mindset probably helps kind of deal with that. I think somebody said a brilliant phrase to me, I mean, this is months ago now, but it's mind monkeys. I think that's a really nice way to put it, because you do have that as an entrepreneur. You launch something or you do something like, we shouldn't have done that. And then you get that little nagging voice going, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Why did you do that? And everything else in between.
It's your mind.
That's what mine sounds like. Yeah, he is. He is.
Manuel the Mexican monkey.
He is. With his big sombrero. Constantly drinking tequila.
It can't possibly be done. Hallmark tequila, senor.
Cool. So what are your main offering? What do you do for organizations, James?
So what we do is we help them communicate quickly, clearly, and concisely through the power of video. Video, as we've seen, obviously due to a certain thing called COVID-19, has become more prevalent. I think people getting on camera now is less of a fear. I think a lot of people prior to COVID, the thought of having to jump on a Zoom call would have been like, no way. And there'd have just been a blanket no. I think we've seen a lot of people now kind of get over that. But I think it's what people are looking for now is kind of that confidence and how to do that in a way that you're actually really exciting and really engaging to listen to. So this is where we kind of come in on this video journey. So we help businesses from that very early stage in terms of say, look, we've got no video, we don't know how to film any video, but we want you to show us how to do that. Through to the businesses that go, look, we don't have time to film our own stuff. We want you to make our own videos. Through to businesses saying, look, we need videos every month. We need you to come in and we need to do it like this. And you need to work with the team. You're going to work with this department and you're going to do it like that. So that's how we help businesses in terms of just helping them create content that's exciting to watch, but it's engaging, but it also just does something. Because it's, I don't know about you guys, but I hate watching a video and you scroll onto LinkedIn, you're watching this video and it's just like, what is this video about? It's like a video for the sake of a video. It's one thing I say to everybody, it's ROI, but it's ROI for your audience. And people don't think of it like that. They go, well, what about for me? It's all about me. I want my ROI. So what do I get from it? It's like, no, what do your audience get from this? You know, what do you get from giving, you've given, I'm going to give you 2 minutes of my time now for you to tell me something about your amazing podcast. If you're probably sat there just chilling back, just necking back on tequila, it's not going to happen, is it? It's the message is going to be convoluted. It's just going to be so boring. It's just no investment reward there. And all that happens is I kind of go away going, well, that was a waste of 2 minutes of my life. And then the next time, we've all been there with movies, haven't we? We've all gone, oh, that's 2 hours I'm never going to get back. It's the same thing though, isn't it? Because you kind of go, well, you see another video that you've posted, you go, well, do I want to watch that? Is it going to be the same thing again? And that's what we're trying to get across to a lot of our clients now. It's like, it's great you're making video, but make it with a purpose. Make it so that audience watch it and actually get value from it.
Yeah, totally. However, I might actually have something to say about watching people get drunk. I attended the How to Be More Pirate book launch, where Alex and Sam were drinking rum, and literally we watched them get progressively drunker, which was really entertaining. It's like, you probably have to really like somebody to think that was funny, I suppose.
I think it ties in, pirates, rum, it all kind of fits into that sort of behavior. I think if it's something, I'm trying to think of like a very serious, I don't know if it's trying to think of something super serious where you just see someone slowly get drunker and drunker. It just becomes a little bit awkward, doesn't it? Where you're like, it's like, what's in that orange juice? They're like, mimosa.
So has this COVID-19 stuff, has that affected
you? COVID-19. Hate the thing. I'm sure like everybody else. Yeah, it affected us massively. So we did my last day so the first Friday in March was our last day of filming that we had scheduled for a week, and we were basically booked out from March until August, fully booked. And then that Monday morning the phone went, and then the phones didn't stop going, and it was just cancelled. It wasn't even a postponement or a delay, it was cancelled work, and everybody cancelled that Monday morning. It literally got to a point where I was just like, do I even want to answer the phone anymore? Because you could see clients ring, like, I just know it's going to be a cancellation. And then I think it was that sort of thing of that people higher up had cancelled, so they'd cancelled. So then it just kind of that knock-on effect. So we had a lot of cancelled work. So I literally, yes, probably like a lot of people went around my head going, right, okay, well, how much money have we got? How long can we survive? How long can we pay the mortgage for? How long can we eat beans and rice for? And then kind of work that. Yeah, that's it. If you could get them, wasn't it? That was the other thing. So it literally got to obviously Tuesday morning. I was just like, well, I just packed up my office. Everybody cancelled. So I mean, this was even before there was any announcement of any in terms of a lockdown. So I mean, I went through, I think it was about 2 weeks before there was any sort of announcement of help and sort of thing. So I'd kind of got applications ready for like Tesco's and Morrison's, because I'd seen that they were looking for delivery drivers. I was like, well, I need to make ends meet somehow. So I kind of, obviously having a young family, so, it's important that I've made sure that the roof remained over everybody's head. So I kind of went around all those sort of different scenarios. I mean, I pulled my daughter out of nursery because it was that sort of thing of where you have to do that, don't you? When you lose everything that's incoming, you've got to go, okay, what is my expenditures? Where can we save money? Even cancelled Sky. That's how bad it got. I cancelled Sky. My daughter was not impressed. There was tears and everything. She's like, where's Pepper gone? Where's Pepper? She's like, Pepper's on Netflix now. She's moved. She lives in Netflix. So we did all of that. And then obviously all the help was announced. So that was obviously a great relief. And then so I pretty much had most of April off, a few little bits and bobs popping up here and there. And then May, the phone started to ring. Conversation basically was, hi, James. Look, we're really sorry we cancelled work. We realised we still need this. We've got a massive demand. We need to be able to do this. We need to be able to do it. Can we keep to the original deadline? and you're thinking, well, how can we even do that? We're supposed to have gone and filmed things with clients who basically we showed them how to record their own videos over Zoom calls. We're like, okay, so this is how you need to record it for us to edit it. So we're doing that. We got a lot of work back. I mean, since obviously now, in terms of time of recording, we've got a lot of the work back that we lost. A few things we didn't get back, like the really big projects haven't come back, which I'm quite disappointed about. But fingers crossed, touch wood. James taps the wood next to him. Yeah, the door, in case anybody's wondering. Yeah, it's picked up again. It's what we have seen is almost like a change a little bit in people's demands. I think people are a lot more understanding. They're a lot more kind of forgiving, and it's that sort of I don't know if you guys have seen that too in terms of how people are and respond. I think it's I say that, and in the same breath, I think there's on the flip side, there's people are even more demanding now too. It's like, yeah, it really is like, but it's like polar opposites. It's like North Pole and South Pole, isn't it? It's like there's some of those like, yeah, just get it done when you can get it done. We really appreciate it. You're getting it done for us. And other people being like, yeah, we needed this like 3 weeks ago. So we need you to come in tomorrow. I'm like, I can't come in tomorrow. I've got other things planned. And they're like, well, do you want this work or not? And you're like, well, good luck on finding somebody. It just seems to be, I don't know. I think a lot of people are kind of, I suppose, very reactive to the whole sort of situation and how they've dealt with it. And I've tried to be a bit more, I suppose, planning my risk more. Anybody in the Business Entrepreneur Accelerator program will appreciate the fact that I did my risk planning on that.
Check you out.
That's right. Check me out. I know. I did my risk planning. So no, I've just been. It's thinking a little bit more, isn't it? Thinking a bit more outside that sort of box and kind of, okay, this has happened. Or how do you move forward? And obviously, planning for the next big one in January when that lands to see how that's going to play out. So it's just, yeah, it's been a weird one. The whole sort of COVID thing, but I mean, it was great to spend time with my daughter. Absolutely loved that. Even if she just wanted to watch Peppa Pig from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m, didn't want to play in the garden or do painting or drawing or anything like that. We just had to watch Peppa. She's like, come on, Dad, come see. Look, Peppa's playing in the house. And like, we could go play in the garden. Sunshine outside. The joys of a 2-year-old.
Yeah. Well, we had that exactly same thing. Oliver's first word was no. As in George.
Yeah. No.
And then sort of looking back, she's a bit of a brat, isn't she, Peppa?
Oh, she really is. I think she's it's definitely where my little girl's got some of, I'm going to say, attitude problem. She's very much got this thing of, no, Daddy, no. And it's, okay, I'm sorry, put that down, Daddy. Put that down. I'm like, where do you get this from? Where have you learned to speak like this to me from? I'm very much wrapped around her little finger, and I think she knows it too.
Yes, that's the thing about dads and daughters, though, isn't it? Absolutely. So, what's the plans for the future? World domination.
Yeah, and all that in between, isn't it? You know, that's our grand plans that we discussed back in 2018. So we've got a few exciting things on the horizon that we're launching. We've got a new service that we're going to be bringing out hopefully next sort of couple of months. We're just in the process of getting that sort of pulled together. Very, very exciting. Unfortunately, I can't really tell you much more about it other than that at the moment because it's top secret. But it's going to be, well, I feel very revolutionary in terms of what we can do in terms of our video offering. Obviously, we provide our video production services, video editing too. So we've got some excellent video editing services. One of the things that kind of spawned out of COVID. So it's a service called You Film, We Edit. Which is exactly what the same name says on the tin. You film it, we edit it for you. Yeah, I mean, who needs a creative name? Just keep it simple, right? It's a really simple terms of offering because we found a lot of people love the filming but hate editing. I think a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of magic that goes on in editing, and I'm sure as you guys can appreciate it with podcasts too, there's magic that goes on behind the scenes to make these, you know, as wonderful as they are compared
people sound
to
good.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Taking all my stuff out, yeah.
Take all your stuff out.
Yeah, it's like we just edit Michelle out of this one.
Michelle wasn't present for this recording.
Oh, That's funny. Anyway, so
Quick fire. Can I do the intro for the quick fire round?
yes, please.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for inspirational quick fire round.
We're gonna have to use that for all the other podcasts now.
I love it. That's so cool.
So question number 1, if you had to replace your hands with objects already in your house, what would you choose?
Could you use like one of them utility tools? It's got like multiple tools on. Is that cheating, or is that allowed?
Yeah,
I feel like
it
feels like a Radio 2 Desert Island Disc thing where you're kind of going to pick your one song from each. I'm like, what's allowed here? Where's the grey area? How far can we push this? Definitely a utility tool. I think there's got to be something on there. I feel like the other one should be a pen, but like the pen that you've got right now, Michelle. So she's holding a pen that's got all the multicolored colors on. So, you pop them down to you and be like, oh, I'm going to write in black today. You go, click. And you're like, oh, you know what? Fancy writing in blue today. And you just pop the blue one down.
This pen is green, blue, purple, and pink. So.
Oh my goodness.
I've got a box and I'll send you one.
Cool. I'd love one.
Oh, dear. Great. Question number 2. What was the last funny video you saw?
The last funny video I saw, I suppose it would be, I'm going to class it as, I'm going to say it's an air quotes personal video. So it's actually a video of my little girl during lockdown. She went through a phase of basically like not wearing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of 2-year-old students go, I don't need to wear clothes. And it was the one day we managed to get clothes on her. And she was wearing wellies with bright fluorescent pink shorts. It was a panda t-shirt that said something about let's go guys. And it was a bright blue hoodie. And she had a pair of pink sunglasses on. And she just basically pretended that the back garden was a catwalk. And she was just strutting up and down. And she was just like, at the end, she would basically stand and pose with hands on hips and being like, almost like, all that needed to be said was someone just to be like, Vogue. That's all it needed for that one little moment. Because it was just, I think it was the whole sort of build up for it all. I think it was one of the few days, obviously having a 2-year-old during lockdown wasn't the greatest of fun, especially when all she wanted to do was watch a certain Peppa Pig. That pig. I'm sure there's a lot of parents that rage with me too towards Peppa and her family, but it was just one of those rare days we actually did get her to go outside because she spent a lot of time wanting to watch the program. I'm not going to say it was easier. I don't think she was coping with being locked down. She was quite used to meeting a cousin, pretty much on a daily basis and seeing obviously family and things. So it was really nice just to see her out in the garden, enjoying the sunshine, even if she was wearing mismatching clothes and pretending she was, I don't think she realized she was a model. I think she was just strutting. She's got a little strut. She's just like, I definitely think she'll be some sort of position of power when she's older because she's got a definite power walk going on already. She's just like the way she walks. So I think that was definitely the funniest video that I've seen.
Oh, sounds adorable.
So question number 3, if there was an Olympics for everyday activities, what would you have a good chance of winning a medal in?
This is a very good question. I think in our house, I often get told that I view doing the chores around the house as an Olympic sport. So like loading the dishwasher, I'm not going to lie, I'd get gold on that. Fastest dishwasher loader in the land. Can load that machine super fast. Often get told that I slam the cupboard doors because I'm like making a point that I've done, like loaded the washing machine and loaded it. I'm like, just close the doors. Apparently they're slammed, but hey ho. I'm sure every man in the land can relate to that. I'm like, I've just done my job. Like boom, gold medal. I think hoovering. I think I would call myself a bit of an Ainsley Harriet Hoover kind of guy. You imagine those the arm movement in the air sort of thing. Not Freddie Mercury, but more probably Ainsley.
That's fine. It's a cross between Freddie Mercury, Mrs. Doubtfire, and Ainsley Harriet.
Yeah, probably.
Sounds
Yeah,
beautiful.
it does, doesn't it?
It's like interpretive dance.
It is, yeah. I think I would score, what is it, like an 8.5 or something for like, it would be, I definitely think it would be more like a figure skating sort of dance. That's the kind of the routine that I think it's the best way to kind of describe it as a Winter Olympic sport.
Would be artistic interpretation and execution or something.
Yes, I think that's about right, isn't it?
That would be funny.
I think I might have to start a petition to get that videoed.
Suddenly the house will stop being hoovered.
Okie dokie. So the last question we ask all of our guests is if we could take you back to your 18-year-old self in a time machine to have a chat with you, what advice would you give?
Oh, goodness me. Advice I would give to 18-year-old me.
It was about 3 weeks ago, but still.
I know, right? Baby-faced. Nobody believes me when I say I'm 32. They're like, you're never 32.
Not, is it?
Good genes. I think I would probably say to myself, it's almost like don't sweat the small stuff. I think I was very sort of stressy as an 18-year-old. I kind of worried a lot about life, and I worried about, how I was going to do things. I don't think I was that worldly wise. Is that a phrase? Do you know what I mean? In terms of like a classic 18-year-old, you kind of, you know what you know, you kind of live for the weekend, you go out drinking and you do that sort of thing. I think I would kind of say to myself, it's like, just take a moment and breathe and just don't worry about everything as much. And I think I'd also say, like, it's funny because literally I had this conversation. We had a freelancer doing some work with us, and he was like 18, 19. And it was like literally looking in the mirror. It was the same sort of conversation I was having with him. He was like saying that he was, he's worrying about these sort of things and that sort of thing. And I was like, it was just honestly like literally looking in the mirror. So it feels like very fresh for me at the moment, having that conversation. But I think I would just say like, it's just kind of taking the time to relax and breathe and not to drink as much. I think that's probably a key thing to kind of get across. I think as an 18-year-old me, I think I thought I was a fish. I think it's the only way I can really describe it.
Yeah.
Probably explains why my inner monologue's a Mexican guy drinking tequila.
So funny.
So for our listeners, if you would like to connect with James or find out more, find him on LinkedIn or go to the website visualpunch.co.uk.
Awesome. Well, thank you ever so much for being our second guest from Beverley.
Oh, second. Oh,
Second guest from Beverley.
Second.
There's another James, actually. Jimmy Armitage.
Oh, I'll have to have a nosy.
Yes, you will. Cool. Well, thank you ever so much for your time today. It's been lovely catching up.
No, thank you. As always, I'm so glad I've finally got around to doing this, and I feel like it will be one less thing you can shout at me for not doing. So it's like, why have you done my podcast test?
It must be the all cap text messages then.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, probably.
Dude.
Like, where are you? Why are you not here? What are you doing?
Oh, cool. Right. Well, thank you.
No, thank you, guys.
Thanks everyone for listening. Check out all the show notes at inspirationnorth.com. Join us again for the next episode when we'll be chatting to another inspirational person. If you like this, subscribe and tell your friends. If you didn't like this, subscribe anyway and tell everybody.